Hello again, comic book fans. I'm Wild Bill from Comic Book Geezers, and welcome back to another exciting episode. We're going to talk about Warlock.
Hey there, guys. How's everybody doing?
Warlock. This is my first introduction for Warlock. I never heard of the guy until the Incredible Hulk, which I was a big collector of. Great character. He fights the Hulk. Then he dies off, I believe. I thought he died off in this issue. And I always thought he was a character that didn't last very long.
But ironically, a long and storied history. So the actual character himself, the first real introduction, it's kind of debatable.
And he's a good-looking character.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of like an Adonis-looking guy, right? The golden child.
Yes.
So he first debuted in Fantastic Four in 1967, issues 66 and 67. He comes out of the cocoon, right? But then kind of character disappeared for a couple of years and then re-debuted in 1969 in Thor, as they called him at the time. He really wasn't going by the Adam Warlock name. And if you look at him, you know, he kind of looks like him, but of course he's got the short hair. And then here he's fighting Thor. The reason why he's fighting Thor is because basically when Adam Warlock, or him, whatever you want to call him at the time, when he's hatched from the cocoon, he's almost like a grown-up man-child. And he just wanted to grab a mate, so he goes after Cersei, and that kind of pisses Thor off, and Thor goes berserk. They have a big battle, and so on and so forth. And then you thought that's the last you're going to see of the guy. Well, not exactly.
And then eventually they came out. Go ahead, get number 2 up there. They bring out his own title, and I believe it was coming out bi-monthly. Well, mine says August. What's yours?
October.
Yeah, so he's coming out bi-monthly, but he didn't last long. He went 15 issues, so bi-monthly, that's 30 months. That's almost 3.5 years.
And this was a couple of months
after...
Excuse
me, 2.5 years, 30 months, right?
And this number 1 that Bill has actually came out a few months after they threw him into the Marvel Premiere series.
Yeah, he also had... He's in the first 2 issues of Marvel's Premiere.
Yeah, and this is what Gil Kane, I think, was drawing the artwork for this at the time. I believe
so.
It was Gil Kane, yeah.
So we got issues 1 and 2. I have the first 8 of them.
Yep.
This is issue 3. Again, great artwork. I thought Warlock covers... I don't have the whole run, but number 10 is one of the hardest to get because that has Thanos on the cover. And we've talked about Thanos. This is issue 4. Anything with Thanos is hard to get. So I would think all these Warlocks would be hard to get, so...
Well, you know what it is? It's like Warlock is probably forever tied to a guy named Jim Starlin.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't until Jim Starlin took over the Warlock character that it really took on a life of its own. So these early issues with Gil Kane... This looks like a Starlin
cover. I wonder if it is. I'm not sure.
It's Gil Kane, actually. It's Gil Kane. Still Gil Kane, yeah.
And then this one I got for $1. I was happy at a con 2 years ago. So I had issues 2 through 8, and then finally got a hold of issue 1, and I also have issue 11. But I paid a lot for issue 11 because Thanos is in it. This is issue 7. Now issue 8, I mean, again, a great artwork. I like the artwork that's with Warlock. Great covers. Issue 9.
So before we go here, so notice how it's called The Power of Warlock, okay? And you notice the logo. Notice it's a 20 center, so this is probably, 1974, right? So they actually had canceled the series. But like about a year later, they decided to reintroduce it, picking up with issue number 9.
So this book is probably 73. Go ahead.
So it's 74 at 25 cents, issue number 9.
It's probably 74.
Now it's just called Warlock, and for any of you who know comics, know that this is Jim Starlin art. Okay, so Jim Starlin took over this magazine. I think this is right around the same time that he was doing Captain Marvel, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see the big difference. Look at the difference in the costume, right? Okay.
Yeah, he put more of a curl. He gave him a yellow collar.
Yep.
With curls, ruffles in the collar. Gave him a little bit of a cape, too.
A little bit of a cape,
attached by the fists.
Yep.
Wow.
And now a big emphasis on the Infinity Stone that's, of course, on his forehead.
Do you have issue 10?
I do not.
That's a hard one to get.
Yeah, he's got 11.
This is number 11, and I've talked about this book before, and Thanos is in it.
Yep.
He's also in issue 10. I keep ping-ponging back and forth, but he's in both issues. But issue 10 is the hardest to get. This is a great cover.
It is. Jim Starlin at his best.
Issue
number
12, which I need. I need the rest of them.
His little buddy Pip the Troll. It's kind of a cool character. And then I also have issue number 13. This cover is pretty faded.
Yeah.
It's kind of dull looking.
What do you want for $1?
Yeah.
Right? I'd rather hold out and got a better copy, but it's still If this was in bright shape, like these colors would pop. This is kind of Dullsville. But this is what happens when comics get exposed to the sunlight.
Right.
That's what happens.
Now, ironically, they go back to they go back to the title of The Power of Warlock again for issue number 14.
The Power of Sales.
Yeah.
That looks like a great cover, too.
It is, yeah. And again, more of that Jim
Did he also do the covers for Strange Tales at the same time?
Starling? Yes, he did.
Okay.
So they canceled this once again, okay?
25 cents.
25 cents, but then decided to bring him back again and throw him in the Strange Tales comic after the Doctor Strange thing had ended.
What number is this?
This is number 179.
And Doctor Strange comes back again in the 180s.
Yeah. Now, this is a fantastic Starling cover. Look at that.
That is great.
And again, back to the original costume again.
$15 to get now. This ain't a cheap comic.
No, not at all.
So
we would see the Warlock character kind of pop in and out over the next bunch of years because we're looking at the mid-70s here. But it was not until the 80s, right? Or
this book is from the 90s.
The 90s. Okay. Well, I actually started before then. The whole Thanos thing. So if you're
Infinity War, I just recently got this. So it's a recent flea market kind of pickup.
So the whole Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet, all the stuff with Thanos that was going on in the 80s and 90s.
First issue.
First issue. Worth a lot of money here. This is a good one to have. And he is integral to the storyline.
How many issues did this go? This is a miniseries.
Yeah, right? 6 or 10 or something like that. But, it was Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity this, Infinity that. It was a whole long thing. But Warlock was so important
great cover
to that story.
for a newer book. I'm not usually bigger into the books in the 90s, but when I saw Warlock, and I'm a Warlock fan, with Captain America and Wolverine in the front, the whole collage of famous characters, I just thought this was a definite
look at all those characters on there, yeah.
Just the cover alone, it was worth getting this book in for $1. Why not?
Yeah. So for those of you who missed our Thanos and Infinity War show, we talked about how the two characters in the comic storyline that were not present in the movies, that were so important to it, Adam Warlock is one and the Silver Surfer is the other.
Look at the difference of what almost 20 some odd years. This is like 1973. Yeah. This is maybe 93. Look at the difference of 20 years.
Big difference, right? Look at the size of the comics too. There was about a half an inch difference.
Oh yeah, look, paper shrinkage. Yep. And this comic is wider.
Yes. So
the one behind.
Got to get different bags and boards, folks, for these.
Let's see.
That's why they ask you when you go order your supplies.
You can see how much wider.
Yeah. It's about a quarter of an inch, right?
Yeah. And that's how they save money.
That's right.
Less paper, less ink. Pass the savings on to you. Not
See,
really.
You get a little bit of advice here. Not only do you learn about
I'm being
comics,
sarcastic. You're not saving anything. You're spending money. You're covering the expense.
That's right.
Customer sucker. Thanks. Come back next month. I'm Wild Bill saying thanks for being here with this episode of Warlock from Comic Book Geezers. As always, thanks for watching, and we appreciate your comments.
Yeah, and I'm Pete. Make sure you go investigate these Warlock comics because these are really cool characters.
Show off
very
our
different.
New banner again, so I get my big head out of the way. Comic Book Geezers, the best new talk show on the web about comics.
Here's some quick homework for everybody. Bill and I are going to move out of the way for a second. We want the first person to names every character in this poster gets a no prize, and that's a little reference to Stan Lee. So there you got a second there. You can put it on freeze, pause. Tell us every character that's in this banner, and collect your no prize next week.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
See you.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.